So, as you can see, I think my phone is pretty crappy, even though I have the light on. Can't really see. I can see perfectly out here, but I don't know. Maybe I'll try to brighten this thing. But anyway, I cleaned up the windshield. There's a lot of muck inside here, and I'm like, let me just take a look. I was thinking, I said maybe I'll what do you call it? Come on, light. Anyway, so I said maybe I will try to add silicone just so it doesn't keep leaking. As you can tell, decent amount of rot here. I had the same thing on the other car, 62 Buick Special, which is a sister car. But after taking off all these moldings, and all I did was push a little bit, the whole thing is basically moving. It's like the whole window is just about ready to come out. I was thinking about calling a glass guy when I saw that, and when I pushed on it, like I was able to peel up the corner here with I just took the tool here, and I'm like, okay, wow, that's really moving a lot. And then I'm like, I pushed up on it, and the whole thing just, does what you just saw. So I could probably get this off myself. I do have a windshield table and the suction cup, so I may try to pick this up myself once I get it loose. I'll just cut some of the leftover, which isn't much, of the glue. I'll clean it all up, and I'll start working on this. I got to get it in the garage. I don't think it's supposed to rain after today, or after, it's pretty much done raining now. Finally, it was pouring earlier, but I will probably end up getting it in the garage, but I'll do some of the heavy wire wheeling and stuff out here and get to repairing it on the inside of the garage. I got to change the motor mounts today as well. That's more important. But I'd like to do this windshield, and I might just, because it actually looks not as rotted as my other car, but it's just leaking worse because it's leaking from everywhere, because the whole thing is loose. Excuse me. The whole thing is loose, so it's just, I took the shop vac, I cleaned up all around it. I got the tool to get these off. Some of these are still intact. I have new ones. I like these little spacers here. And I gather this is I don't know if the spacer bolts in or not. That's why you line it up, but maybe I'll attempt to do the windshield myself at this point once you get it out. But you see there's a lot of muck in there, even though I got a lot of it out. It's pretty bad. But believe it or not, it cleans up better than you think. And I'm going to, I have an old video, but before I was putting, I had the, nowadays you get a free program to put together all of the videos, so I put all my little steps in one. I used to do all these 1-minute videos and post them separately, so it kind of stunk. So you have to really look at my 62 Buick Special posts and try to find it. So, but this is going to be similar, my bet. And since I did it once already, I don't think it'll be so bad. Plus, I ended up doing the whole body work to the car and everything, and I really wasn't prepared for it, and I gave myself a lot of extra expense, but I don't think this is going to be so bad. I just got to find the table that holds the windshield as well as the suction cups I have somewhere. So I hope I didn't give it away to somebody. I kind of feel like I did, but I may have not. So don't ask me why. I always think I'm never going to be doing this, but then sure enough, I do it again anyway. So, all right, I'll end it here, and I'll try to give you some progress along the way. Does anybody know what? I'm missing a breather here. I gather it's a weird looking breather, and I saw some of them, but is this thing here going to the transmission? Because it's shifted. It did shift kind of funny, but I thought it was adjustments. It's going down there somewhere. I want to get it right if I go and drive this. Got an oil leak. Anyway, kind of curious where that goes. Thanks. So, I put my handy dandy electric ratchet in here with these motor mounts. This guy, I took out the main bolts already. They were very easy. Typical 5/8 and 11/16. Come on. Light never shines where you need it. Alright. So the through bolt wasn't a problem, and yeah, obviously the other bolts, they go through when everything screws into aluminum, it's like really easy. Comes right out. I mean, it's very possible they were loose. Come on. Okay, so when you reach in here with your you accidentally, you might touch the positive battery cable. Where am I? Of course, it's zoomed in. How did it? Okay, so this is it. Basically, you gotta be careful when you go there. You gotta do a little dance with this, but on that side, this side here is not an issue. It comes right out with a 5/8 on a 3-inch extension, and this is the passenger side one, the one that doesn't usually go bad, and it just basically the other part just fell. I had two. I could see that the driver's side one is like really bad, and this one here is just completely blown apart. This car has a ton of power. I'm really shocked how much more power it seems to have than my other car with the Buick 215 instead of the Oldsmobile version. So basically, let's see. I keep moving this camera around. So on this side, probably don't even need the extension. In fact, it might be a hindrance. Hang on. I don't usually show things of me actually taking things out because I need two hands for most things. Of course, this side is tight. Come on. Alrighty, that's one. These ratchets are really good. They're the super long ones. They're big head. They're ton of torque. Yeah, that one you just hit the button and it grabs and it comes right off. You know. By the way, I put a piece of wood on the transmission, on the bell housing, to lift it up. And this one's basically blown out the same way. But man, it was pretty darn bad. Oh yeah, there's zero rubber in here. At least the other one is a trace of the rubber. This one here is just completely gone. Oh, here we go again with this phone. Light sensitive. I don't know why that's the case, but it is. So, a couple of years ago, when they were still available, now they're harder to find, I bought these. This is Westar on it. It has a label on it. Now, these say Westar, but I swear it was a different company, and it was funny because it says made in Thailand. And somebody scratched it off on there, associated with them. I really didn't look to see what this one said, but these look like the newer ones that were in sitting. They're all the same. See, they call it something else, but it's Westar in the thing. I forget which one. I ended up putting them in these other boxes. Yeah, this is just like Rock Auto special. I think I got one set from Rock Auto and one set from eBay, and they're both Westar anyway, but they look correct. It's funny, I did a conversion on one of these cars. If you look at my earlier videos, of 63 Buick Special, I put a Buick 300, and I had to use these mounts pretty much. So that car was really fast, so they held up for a while, so hopefully these will too. But that's kind of crazy how... This is aluminum? It seems so light. I wish I had a magnet on me. It almost seems like aluminum, yet there's rust there, but probably not. This is definitely steel. This one just seems awfully light, but it's just the whole mount is just very small. But this will drastically improve the drivability of this car, because the dead spot in the carburetor would buck, and then the whole motor, I'd hear it jump and move, you know. So that's the crazy thing. So, alright, I'm not going to film putting it back together, but I'll show how it looks when it's over, when it's done. Video now to show you something. I had jacked it up considerably to get it to a different place, and this is like way off or something. almost like the bolts in the block kind of look okay, but I guess it's got to kind of settle in place. But it almost looks like I got to go higher to clear the mount, so because it has to go back. So it's just Chinese rubber probably. This whole motor had to be like not in a favorable position. Like this actually may end up being a lot more of a pain than I expected. I might have to like move this motor a lot. I'm going to see if the other motor mount actually lines up, and I'll give updates. And you know, just there's no sense. It fits in there, and it kind of drops down a lot. So it's really a matter of the motor is all the way over to the driver's side. So I'm going to try to push the motor over. I actually thought I was getting it, but you know, like I had two hands. Now I'm holding the phone. Maybe time to get the pry bar. Let me see if I can use such a light engine. You figured you'd be able to get it somehow. Just gotta find a place to pry it. It's not always an ideal situation. This is just hard to push. But I'm probably just gonna put a pry bar in from the top and push. I suppose I could do something like this, but I'm probably gonna hurt my fingers. Alright. So that's basically it. That's why it's not really fitting right. Just had a whole bunch of frustration. Motor had to go over quite a bit, but I ended up, the trick was not to put this one in first, but put the driver's side one in first. And as you could, I think you can tell, the hole is lined up now, but I have the motor mount bolts, I had them tight, you have to leave them loose. And then I'm going to catch this, and once I catch this, then I'll put the ones on the block. And then all will be hunky-dory. I bet you it's still not lined up, but it's close. I gotta use two hands, but in the end, I just moved it. I may have to actually unscrew the motor mount even more to get the angle, but once all that gets, you know, once I line all that up, it'll be fine. But unfortunately, it has been a real pain in the neck, to say the least. It's just about lined up. I may have to loosen it a little bit more. That's basically it. Done. That took like an hour and a half or 2 hours, but ultimately what I had to do is I had to unbolt the motor mount from the block on this side as well, and then I was able to pry the motor over. And basically all four center bolts, you know, all four bolts that mount the motor mount had to be left loose in order to fit in the motor mount bolts themselves. And once I got them through, then I was able to tighten them up. And now, I mean, this motor's got to be pretty rock solid, you know. And it's definitely up higher as well, and among other things, so I really feel it's going to be pretty good. There's going to be a big difference. I was really jacking it up a lot. I actually heard this stuff kind of flex here, so hopefully this is all still nothing wrong. And you know, ultimately, yeah, this piece here, I was like wondering about that pivot point, and I heard something kind of, I don't know if it just moved because of the linkage was binding or something like that, but in any case, so far so good. It's in. It took a lot longer, like I said, and now I want to get this windshield out and get it in the garage. I got to clean up first, though. Something I don't like doing. Cleaned up, and of course, that's when it starts to rain. And now I got to make a mess inside here, but I kind of have it sticking out, so hopefully the dust flies elsewhere. But first I got to get this, and I got to still find the suction cups, and we'll see what happens. You know, I might be able to handle the glass by myself in one shot anyway, but we'll see. Didn't work out so good. Oh boy. I guess it could have been worse using this. This is not the greatest wire wheel, but that's. So this white stuff is actually seam sealer And I did this with the other car that I have, and you know, it's in the corners, and it's not really that good, you know. I mean, I think in the end it shrinks and it's porous. This is all rotted, this corner here. This is the worst corner. But it's actually not nearly in as bad shape as the other car was. So I'm probably going to get a coarser wire wheel and hit it more and finish this off. I got to blow out all the dust. And it's raining like crazy. Wish me luck. A long, arduous task of cleaning everything out, vacuuming the car, blowing it off, blowing the dust out. And this is the end result. Yeah, it looks bad. I had a little bit of bubbling out over here, and then it just kind of like grinded down with a wire wheel. So it's like, I think they put lead in there too. So I think they were forming it with lead. But this whole lip is a little down. The center is kind of okay. The top part is very good. And there's a few holes up here. And then on this side, there's holes all inside here, and this whole lip is down even further. So I think you can see a little better there. Up here it's not terrible. There's a little hole in the top there, I see, you know, but I was going to get a big epoxy job. And I got to treat it with something, and then I'm going to epoxy it with the heavy stuff that you roll together to initially get it, all these things filled in. You know, I might even flex seal it on the inside here, probably afterwards if it's never going to dry out otherwise. So hopefully it is able to dry out, or I just block out all the moisture. Maybe it'll kind of dry overnight. I tried blowing it. It's going to take time. It's pretty much better off being left out in the sun, perhaps. You know, so this is what you got to do. So I was thinking about trying to get this tonight, but you know, to help let it dry. But I mean, to help let the epoxy dry, not this. But it's pretty much going to dry out itself. So I'm probably going to call it a day, and that's it. And I'll make another video tomorrow. But this was a very eventful day, I must say. Oh well, it would have been great if this thing just didn't break, you know. So hopefully tomorrow will be a better day. Thanks for watching.